What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we have some very, very interesting news as undefeated three-division world champion who simultaneously held the WBA super title at super featherweight, the WBA regular title at junior welterweight, the WBA regular title at lightweight, superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis. Gervonta Tank Davis is 27 wins, no loss and no draw, 25 big wins by way of knockout. He is 28 years of age, 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. With that said, Gervonta Tank Davis has announced that he's signed a 2-fight deal for 2023. The first fight is going to see him face off against undefeated Dominican star WBA super featherweight world champion in Hector Garcia. That's January 7th in Washington, D.C. And then the second fight is going to be April 15th or April 22nd against undefeated lightweight, junior welterweight, Mexican superstar title contender King Ryan Garcia, who has a record of 23 wins, no loss and no draw, 19 wins by way of knockout. He is 24 years of age, 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach. With that said, Gervonta Tank Davis has revealed today, after some photos, some very interesting photos surfaced of Ryan Garcia, who looks extremely bulked out, okay? He looks very, very big, Ryan Garcia does, okay? He looks extremely bulked out. And Gervonta Tank Davis, he gets wind of this, okay? And he sees these photos, and Gervonta Tank Davis, he responds and reacts to these photos, and he says, he says that, he definitely got bigger over time. He ain't never been this big in his career. So this is what Gervonta Tank Davis had to say, quote, he said, "No funny stuff. If I find out he cheating, it's going to be a problem, and it's going to be more than problems in boxing, more than boxing problems, okay? On my mama," is what he said, okay? Then, Gervonta Tank Davis, he responds to a fan that says, "Don't forget, he worked with Eddie Reynoso, well-renowned trainer, two-time trainer of the year, who trained, ironically enough, he trained Oscar Valdez, two-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who tested positive for a banned substance. He also trains four-division world champion, who's the undisputed super middleweight world champion, Saul Canelo Alvarez, who tested positive for clenbuterol. He also trained a few fighters, okay? And those few fighters, they tested positive for a banned substance within the sport of boxing, okay? And so his gym have been frowned upon lately because, people have looked at Eddie Reynoso and they're saying, you have trained a lot of fighters that have tested positive for a banned substance. And mind you, he has trained Ryan Garcia up until today. Now today, Ryan Garcia has parted ways with Eddie Reynoso, and Ryan Garcia is now with, he's with Mr. Goosen, okay? So with that said, Tank Davis, he responds to that comment saying that, he used to train with Eddie Reynoso, right? And Tank Davis, he responds, he says, quote, "He never looked this big before. He definitely on something." And he goes, and don't forget, the zone already proved they don't care about testing positive, right? Because now he's referring to welterweight British superstar title contender Conor Benn, who recently was supposed to have a massive rival showdown with his father's rival. Conor Benn is the son of legend Nigel Benn, and he was supposed to face off against his father's biggest rival and Chris Eubanks Sr.'s son, Chris Eubanks Jr., but Conor Benn, he tested positive for a banned substance, to which Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, they tried to push for this fight, although they knew that Conor Benn had tested positive in the past, and they already knew he tested positive ahead of this fight with Chris Eubanks Jr., and they tried to cover it up and started to try to push for the fight, and that fight was going to be on DAZN. So Tank Davis responds and he says DAZN don't mind allowing fighters to fight with when they have performance enhancers. And also heavyweight British superstar title contender Dillian the Body Snatcher White, he tested positive for a banned substance, and it took months ahead in his fight with Oscar Rivas, and there was funny business that took place with that situation, right? The Border Commission knew that he tested positive ahead of his fight with Oscar Rivas, and they still allowed the fight to go ahead and didn't inform Oscar Rivas until the fight was over, okay? So they didn't inform Oscar Rivas till the fight was over. Then somebody responds to Gervonta Tank Davis again and says, champ, they said, quote, champ, you seem a little nervous, concerned. Why not set up some early Vada testing? Vada is Voluntary Anti-Doping Agency, instead of starting a narrative. To which Gervonta Tank Davis replied and said, quote, I tried to do that. Wow. So Gervonta Tank Davis said he tried to set up, a Vada testing program in place, an early Vada testing program in place for the fight with Ryan Garcia, and they refused. Okay. Ryan Garcia, he can't make 135 pounds anymore. He got extremely big over the times. Okay. And it's abundantly clear he's outgrown 135 pound division. He's gotten extremely big. And over this time, right, you can see the muscle mass growing. Now, Ryan Garcia, again, was definitely a young kid, with a wiry frame, very lanky and very tall. And so you can see, that he definitely is growing into himself. Okay. But now you can see that Ryan Garcia definitely is definitely visibly much more masculine, muscular, than he's been in the past, right? And so this is a photo that surfaced that got Gervonta Tank Davis to respond. And you can see the traps on Ryan Garcia, how extremely big Ryan Garcia looks in this photo, right? If you look at this fight, look at this photo, you can see how big Ryan Garcia is in this photo, right? You could just look at his wingspan, right? Look at his wingspan right here. How big his wingspan is, and look how big his arms is. He looks extremely big, but he has a very big frame at 5'10", right? He's a big guy. And this is the photo that Gervonta Tank Davis was responding to. And Ryan Garcia, he had put up a photo of him, with a daily routine as to how he got so big, and he put up his times and what he does in a day, so on and so forth. He put this up, to describe what he does in a day, and he hits weights. Weights is not a big thing in the sport of boxing, at least not in the lower weight classes, because muscle reportedly weighs more than fat. So you try to stay away from too much weightlifting, and that weightlifting, it demands a lot of oxygen on top of it. Your muscles demand a lot of oxygen. So it makes you fatigued. Okay. So, they training for a marathon, not for a sprint. Okay. It's a 12-round, 3-minute fight. So you want a 3-minute, 12-round fight. So you want to try to pace yourself. Okay. You want to be able to have the endurance over a long period of time. You don't want to, you don't want to have, a situation where, you fatigue in the middle of the fight or late in the fight, and that costs you the fight. So a lot of fighters, they stay away from bulking up too much. Now they do a lot of calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, things of that nature. Those things are also considered, those types of muscle gaining exercises also considered, to be somewhat of a way to get your cardio up. Okay, so it's a form of cardio opposed to just heavy weightlifting. It's just focusing on an individual muscle. So Ryan Garcia has extremely fast hands. Okay, has power in both hands. But again, this raises concern as to, we know the WBC, World Boxing Council, President Mauricio Sulaiman, board of 32 members, they claim to have a clean boxing program that you have to enter when you are fighting for the WBC title. Well, they're not fighting for a WBC title. So Ryan Garcia is not obligated to, fight in the clean boxing program. Okay. He's not obligated to enlist in the clean boxing program. So with that said, this is interesting that Gervonta Tank Davis has asked to have a Vada testing, early Vada testing, and Ryan Garcia and his team obviously are not willing to do so. And another thing is, I don't understand how the sport of boxing makes the fighters have to pay for their clean boxing program. This should automatically be incorporated, within the structure of the sport of boxing. It should not be on the fighters to have to pay for to be tested. Okay, so it's not on the fighters. You know, you look at any other sport in the NFL and the NBA, it's not on the NBA players or the NFL players or Major League Baseball players to have to pay for the testing. The structure within their respective sport pays for the testing. And that's another thing. Excuse me. You have a lot of people claim that it's just extremely expensive to enter these programs and have these testings. Well, the fighters can't afford it, and especially seeing the fighters are fighting once and 2 times a year. They're not even fighting multiple times in a year. You know, it's rare that we get fighters fighting twice in a year. So they're not getting 2 paychecks, 3 paychecks, 4 paychecks. In the NBA, you get paid every week, okay? In the NFL, you get paid every week. In baseball, you get paid every week, right? They're getting paid every 6 months, once every 6 months, twice a year, okay? So it's very expensive. So, but they pay, you know, a major percentage to these sanction bodies, okay? 10% of their purse goes to these sanction bodies, which is utterly ridiculous to say the very least, right? And if they're going to pay their percentage to go to these sanction bodies, then the sanction bodies should be the ones that pay for the stringent testing within the sport of boxing to make it a safe place. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.